Welcome to CC Rock. I'm Metal Matt. I'm outside the Dixon May Fair in Dixon. Hey, this place is cool. It's a hidden secret place that only Metal Matt and about 20,000, 30,000 other people know about. But hey, it's a cool place to check out acts, and I mean big acts. They got Reo Speedwagon, Sammy Hagar. They've had lots of big acts come through for the last 5 years. And you know what? Tonight, we're gonna talk to Kevin Cronin and Neil Dowdy of Reo Speedwagon about their big career and, of course, the big show here at Dixon. So, sit back, relax, enjoy CC Rock Dixon style, baby.
There's no one like you. I can't wait for the nights with you.
Don't wanna lose those days when everything is just a haze. I'm dreaming.
Oh, one night in the city, in the city, in the city. One night looking pretty.
Ridin the Storm Out, waiting for the fallout on a summer night in the Rocky Mountain winter. One body low, watching for the snow, thinking about what I've been missing in the city. You know, not missing a thing. Just watching the full moon crossing the range, and I'm riding the storm out, riding the storm out, riding the storm out, riding the storm out. Lady beside me, she's there to guide me. Said that I don't know if finally found our home. Well, the wind outside is frightening, but it's kind of been a lightning life in the city. It's a hard life to live, but it gives back what you give. And I'm not missing a thing, just watching the full moon crossing the range, and I'm riding the storm out, riding the storm out, riding the storm out, riding the storm out. Oh, yes I am, baby. Riding the storm out, just to wait.
Welcome to CC Rock. I'm Metal Matt. We're backstage at the Dixon May Fair. A very cool place, very cool lighting setup, and also a very cool band. Backstage with me right now, we got Kevin Cronin, Neil Dowdy of Reo Speedwagon. How you guys doing?
Metal Matt, we're good, buddy. How are you doing?
Hey, this is a beautiful day on a Friday, starting the weekend, starting to roll with the changes, getting a little high infidelity. No, I'm married. Okay, we won't go that way. But you guys been rocking and rolling for, almost 30 years? 30 years, and that's quite an amazing feat.
31 years since our first album came out.
31 years. I mean, how do you do it for that long? I mean, a lot of people always say, oh God, bands have been going on for a while. When is the actual point in your life? I mean, you guys gonna rock forever? What's gonna happen?
That's a good question. Our guitar player Dave was down in Los Angeles over the weekend, saw McCartney's show at Staples. The guy is 60 years old and did like a 35-song set, sang his ass off. Every song sounded better than ever. So I just turned 50, and my thing is 50 ain't as old as it used to be. So it's all about how you feel. You take some kind of decent care of yourself, and you love what you do. Keeps you young.
Well, I think you guys obviously love what you do because you see it on stage. I mean, I remember all the way back to Day on the Green. God, what was that? Ozzy Osbourne and who was that? Heart with you guys or?
Rich Rath.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me the story. Here's a good story here. What was that?
Guitar player was out, like, hanging out in the audience, or I don't know where he was, or went back to the bus or something, didn't have a stage pass, and tried to get back to the dressing room, and Bill Graham wouldn't let him back, wouldn't believe who he was, had him thrown out.
This is the Day of the Green at the Oakland Coliseum where I was at, my first concert. Oh, man. So, well, Bill Graham is always, he's been a very interesting character, but he's helped a lot in the Bay Area music scene, so it's like give and take. I mean, like I said, it's tragic that he died, almost more than 10 years ago. And it's been 10 years, I'm almost positive. I mean, I know the Helios was playing that night at the Pavilion, and I missed the show because the storm was so bad, and that was, of course, the night he died. But enough for Bill Graham. I mean, you guys have done a lot of stuff, but, behind the music, you're talking about Gary, and the fact of, he had a big part in the behind the music, the actual piece that was on VH1. He's not a big part of the band right now, but
he was.
Yeah, that's the main reason.
Oh yeah, I mean he was a big. The Neil and Bruce and I are still there, and of course Alan Gratzer, the original drummer, and Gary. The five of us, we kind of went through everything that it took to get to the point where we could do an album like High Infidelity, and Gary was a huge part of that. It's we've carried on. It's been 12 years since he left the band, and knock on wood, we're doing better than ever. And these places like this, man, you look out and it's like, wow, there's a Ferris wheel back there. Is this really cool? Is this really rock and roll? But it is. I'm telling you, we do a lot of gigs like this, a lot of fair gigs. They set up a big stage and people come out, and it's like, you can get vibed out because of the fact that it's a fair, but you don't need to because it's just a lot of fun. And a lot of our fans, bring their kids out with them, and we put on the same kind of rockin' show here as we will, in a proper arena next week. It's the same thing. We don't look at it any differently, so it's cool.
I find that exact thing you're talking about, the kids, the fair idea. A lot of my fans who watch the show CC Rock are always saying, hey, I sit down with my kids, they watch it, they get into music. So it's almost like a, next generation type thing happening. And like I said, there's a lot of bands. You'll see like a lot of young girls sometimes in the front up there.
No.
Yes. I mean, come on now. Now, Kevin, tell me, are you married?
Yeah.
Okay, that goes that question. So, I mean, obviously you see all these young chicks up there. What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking, man?
The best. I mean, come on. I mean, whether you actually, obviously, I'm married and I respect my marriage vows, but that doesn't mean that I don't get excited when I look out in the crowd and see a bunch of hot-looking young girls, and so I get off on it in my own way. I mean, that kind of, when you're up on stage playing music and there's you have a relationship with the entire audience, but usually for us, we can only see maybe the first couple rows of people, and we fall in love during that show. It's because when you break it right down, I mean, most of us got into rock and roll to impress babes. It's all about singing your music and trying to get a woman excited, and that's still what when you break it down, that's what it comes down to. So, I mean, what a great way to still kind of have that experience, but still be married too.
Time for me to fly. I got to set myself free. Time for me to fly. That's just how it's got to be. I know it hurts to say goodbye, but it's time for me to fly.
Well, you have a live CD, DVD actually out. Reo Speedwagon Plus is actually taped on the same tour with Styx, correct?
Right, yeah.
Well, tell me about the fact that you guys and Styx, and you're both from Illinois, pretty much the same state as far as the musically wise. Do you guys have a cool relationship with Styx? Is that something that was really fun to do together?
Amazing relationship. I mean, for years we were like, fierce competitors, kind of. It seemed like every time we released a record that we were really excited about, they would release one like a week later, and it would always be like, so there was always this thing with the record companies trying to out-promote each other, and if you look at the history of the bands, it was a lot of that. And but we had never really played any gigs together until a few years ago, and when we finally did, we just got along with them. We just hit it off with the guys in the band, and their sound man used to be my producer, and there's all this, all these ways that our paths have crossed, and we just love those guys. And so touring with them, it's kind of one of those things where there's still, when you got somebody, a great band like Styx on the bill with you, it makes you play better, because it's like some nights they got to follow us, some nights we got to follow them, and so it brought the best out of both of us. And we had a great time with them. That's why we ended up making a CD together. That wasn't planned. That was just like, this is fun. We should record this. Oh,
They did that. You all came on stage at the end of the show, and I mean, you borrowed a kit, and you guys all played together. How is that feeling to do it? I guess David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar are going to be doing something similar, a little bit, not really exactly. How is that to get together with another band on stage and jam?
It's great. There's nothing like it. It's the best thing in the world to know that you got a great band sitting back there every night, because it just, like I say, it brings the best out of you. Plus, it's, some nights I'll go out and sing a little Blue Collar Man with those guys, or, a couple of those guys will come out and sing and roll with the changes. So that it's, that's always a kick.
Well, we're still out here at the Dixon May Fair, a very cool place. And you know what? I've got somebody very special here from the Dixon May Fair. Hubert Rodeville, how you doing?
Good,
Hubert?
good. How you doing?
Yeah, well, tell me about this great fair. I mean, people in the Bay Area, it's a kind of hidden secret, you could say. Tell me a little bit about how did it come about?
Well, it came about because it's like all state fairs. It's a great history. This is now the 127th year of this fair, and of course, this fair is part of what happens in our county as far as agriculture and livestock, and so that's what we bring out in this fair, and it's a way for people to come out in the area to see what our community is about.
Well, I mean, tonight you got Reo Speedwagon, Joan Jett, tomorrow night Sammy Hagar. I mean, how do you get such great acts and this, all these people? It's packed here. How is it like a crew behind this that's really good or what?
Well, our CEO, Mike Green, is a very creative person. He likes to do the unique stuff in a very unordinary way, and I think that's what he looks at. Here's a small town of Dixon, and he wants to bring big acts, and people just think, why would anybody come out to watch these big acts in a small town? It just, you think why these people should be playing in the Bay Area or in Sacramento, but it just seems to make sense, and people come out and they love to be a part of it.
Well, I understand. I guess it was 5 years ago Reo Speedwagon played here. It was actually, they say, the show that saved the fair. Tell me about, anything about that story and the fact that, it was something that, the fair was possibly having some problems. Tell me about that.
Well, what was happening is that the state fair began to lose its, they get a support from the state. They were losing money as far as ability to get that support, so it was cut down. And they had to figure out a way. Otherwise, the facility wasn't going to stay. They could not maintain it. There's a lot of buildings here, and they couldn't get the revenue. So they had to figure out a way. However, they had to deepen their, go in their pockets to bring these acts out. So they took a huge risk to invest in this, and they hit it, and they hit well. And unfortunately, the first year they tried it, it rained.
Wow.
And so they're going, they were even deeper. Oh, yeah. And they're going, oh boy, we got to take another chance. And that's when they brought out Reo, and they hit it. And then the year later, they brought Faith Hill in 1997, and it went from there. And they got Clint Black in '98, and then Huey Lewis, and it just kept going. And now, in this period of time, the weather is key. And if we're very fortunate, again, we got the weather. It's perfect. And people come out in droves for this. So
it's a really unique place. I got to say, check out the Dixon May Fair next May 2003, because this place is cool. Thank you, Hubert.
Recently I've been thinking about what I am and where my priorities lie. Getting it together on some future plans, deciding what I need to get by. Well, I tried beginning schooling, but they're just not my brand. Well, baby, can't you see along with me, a music man? Well, I could be picking bluegrass and singing the blues. Doesn't really matter to me. As long as I'm playing music, I just can't lose. No one's gonna tell me differently. 'Cause all I really care about is sitting right here in my hand. Can't you see I love with me, music man? Well, my mama said she worries about me for days, even though she really likes the way the boy plays. My daddy tells her that I'm going through a phase, but that's just what he always says. When I hear what they say, but I take it with a grain of sand. Oh baby, can't you see I love with me, music man? Oh, can't you see I love with me, music man? Well, I told you my story, now here's what I found. To be happy, you need only be real. So don't let anyone try to turn your head around. Just remember you are what you feel. You see, all of my life people been trying to tell me who I am, but I don't listen. Baby, can't you see I'll always be a music man? Whoa, can't you see I'll always be a music.
Like I said, you haven't done an album for a while. I mean, Building Bridges, the last studio album, correct? Oh, wait, you're working on something? Hold on. So, Building Bridges, 96, you did a tour with Foreigner and I think Frampton for a little while. How, I mean, like I said, do you guys enjoy the actual process of getting in the studio and sitting down together and writing, or is it more, I mean, with Gary not part of the band as much more, is it more of a burden, or is it harder or what?
I'll have Kevin answer that question because he has just written a new song and we're all working on it together during sound checks, and everybody in the band really likes it. And but I'll let Kevin tell you a little more about the actual process of creating new material.
Okay, musical chairs. When do I get to move? hey, come over and sit down and talk for me. No kidding.
So what were we talking about again?
In the studio world, get in there and doing it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's realistically, it takes so much energy and a lot of time, a lot of resources to put together a record, and we've had such great success over the years, so we know what it feels like to go in there and spend 6 months on a record and have it come out and be a #1 record in the world. It's a little different for us now because we don't, when we release a record, it doesn't go to top 10 anymore, and it's like, all right, we had our time and it was great, and we're still out here playing great gigs and people still come out to see us, so it's kind of cool in that way. There's no pressure, but at the same time, if you write songs and it's like, well, you want to do something with these things, and just because the records may not top the charts doesn't mean that you can just kind of stop doing it. But so it's more of a challenge. It really is, because you gotta, we all have families, and it's a tough thing to think about spending 6 months in a recording studio when you've got a family. But but I just wrote a new song, and we started, like Neil said, we started working it up at sound checks, and we'll see what happens. Who knows? I mean, we've got a, we can play new songs in the set if we like to. In fact, we had a new song in our set last year. We never recorded it, but audiences got off on it, and our fans like to hear the songs we're writing. So it's just a different kind of mindset, and we may end up making a studio record at some point. We may not. It's like, we'll see.
It is one good thing to have a nice built-in live audience, because we can write a new song, and even if it doesn't end up on a record, there's 500,000 or 1 million people that are going to hear it anyway, and people that are very loyal fans that have seen us many times. It's a big thrill for them to hear a new song, even if the fact they might hear it played live before they hear it on the radio. That's a really big deal to them. So it's worth working on it for that reason too.
Well, you talk about the fact that new bands, they hit the charts, boom, their record's way up there. 3 years from now, they're gone. I mean, the Styx, the REOs, all these bands, the Scorpions, Deep Purple, Dio. This is a cool tour coming up. They're still kicking. They're still out there doing it. What is the thriving answer to the classic rock world still so strong?
That music just found a place in people's hearts. I mean,
And it's been able to cross generations too,
Yeah.
because we. Anytime you have people of all ages showing up, I mean, it's nice to have young women in the front row to look at, but it's also nice to know that you have a younger audience, so that we could probably do this as long as we want. I think the one thing that would make us stop is if nobody showed up. I mean, you don't ever get tired of this when there's a big crowd of people singing along and having a good time. And we are lucky that we made a name for ourselves with a type of music that just doesn't seem to be going away. Your brain's kind of wired to like classic rock and the power ballad and that sort of thing. So, as long as we get that built-in audience, we can keep going as long as we want.
Well, I know, Kevin, you're quite the tennis player.
Oh.
And, we've got some pictures of you playing tennis here back in Walnut Creek, I'd say a few years back from the hairdo.
Nice, sure.
And you look like you're really out there into it. I mean, is this part of your part-time world? What do you guys do for, I mean, this is part of your life, obviously, a big part of it. What do you guys do for fun? What is your ideal of just getting away?
We like to look at old pictures of ourselves in very short shorts. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that was actually a fun thing. I mean,
you remember it then? You remember the actual day? These are yours. You keep
We'll
them.
do
So what is the future? I mean, next year, Reo Speedwagon, you guys gonna keep it up, doing the tour, maybe put an album out? What's up?
Well, we're not sure. There's actually talk about, we've been kind of laying low the last few years, just kind of trying to balance out our family life and our touring life. And, we this year we've been kind of going out for, a few days, being home for a couple weeks, trying to keep that. I got 3 young children at home, so that's a tough one.
I'm there.
But we're thinking about next year doing, mounting an actual tour. And but it's great, because we can go out and do fun gigs like this, and keep the organization going. And we got a great crew and a great organization that we like to.
Drives a woman wild, but then he drives up in a Mercedes Benz. He's got a long whip with a flame at both ends. He's hot, but don't let him go. But just give him a chance to grow. Take it easy, take it slow, and don't let him go. Don't let him go. Yeah, it makes you so angry, makes you so sore. The wait may be worth it, but how can you wait anymore? When you're wondering what you're waiting for, baby, I know, but don't let him go. Just give him a chance to grow.
Well, that wraps up this month's edition of CC Rock. We're still here at the Dixon May Fair, and my feet are getting a footsie-wootsy. Haley helped me out here with the footsie-wootsy job. I mean, a quarter, I mean. Anyhow, it's something like that. But anyhow, she's actually a singer in a band, and she's looking for her big start on CC Rock. Well, what do you know? She met Joan Jett a while back, who actually has opened up for Reo Speedwagon. But, this is a great place. Definitely check out the Dixon May Fair next time. Great guys, Kevin Cronin, Neil Dowdy. They're very, very nice guys. And the Dixon May Fair, people are great to us here. So, if you want to get in touch with CC Rock, give us a call at 925-933-6264, or you can always check out the website at www.ccrock.tv. We'll see you next time. My footsie-wootsy job is almost done. It's about time I head homesy-womesy, okay?
Good to see you all tonight. You know our music and our songs have always been about survival, It's about appreciating the good times and working through the tough times.